let's roll off to the next topic. Actually, I'm gonna go with my topic if that's okay.
Yeah.
And my topic is going to be games in the Olympics. There was an article recently. Basically, it was a BBC article, if I remember correctly, and it was talking about the idea of what it would be like, or if it could happen if esports rolled into the Olympics one day. And I believe this stemmed from the creator of Warcraft saying that he believes it could definitely be a possibility. And that obviously stirred some controversy. There was Colin Cowherd infamously said on ESPN not too long ago that if League of Legends or video games in general ever became a true sport, that he would quit ESPN, or if he was forced to cover a game, he would quit because it's not sports.
He would.
And so that gets into the nitty gritty of like there's layers here, and we could peel this off. So then I guess the first question, right, to even get to the Olympics, right, is video games a sport? I'll ask that to you guys. What do you think about that?
Well, what is a sport?
So.
Exactly. So what is a sport? Yeah.
A sport to me basically is something you're more skilled at than others.
No,
I think so.
You're saying like more, but that could be anything though. So like I'm more skilled at painting than you are. Is that a sport?
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Not
Nice.
that. I meant like as far as shit.
Like competition?
Well, competition, yeah. And I meant something you enjoy to watch. And there's a ton of people that enjoy to watch like League or like, people. Now you see people.
Yeah, but
like,
baseball's a sport and nobody enjoys to watch that. Sing.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's boring.
Golf.
No, Steve
I'd say one would argue golf. Golf is probably boring to watch.
So I think competitive is pretty damn. Well, you have to be able to. It needs to be measurable against other.
Well, yeah,
right?
I would say that. I would say also like
because there's no sport.
Teamwork too, but there's not always teamwork involved in a sport,
Yeah.
But I would say that most sports though that have teamwork involved, they have some type of strategy or tactic involved, some type of skill that's necessary to be able to, like. But that's like I don't know.
Okay, I agree with you. Skill, but tactic. I mean, Olympic diver. What is?
He's gonna have.
Can you say
well, not tactic. I mean, he's gonna at least. Maybe not in the sense of like, okay, my rival just did this, and now what do I need to do that's better? That's strategizing, I guess.
Yeah.
But the golfer's going to do that too. The tennis guy's going to do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, but so is the risk guy, guy playing Risk. I mean, that's why like games kind of like
Risk
the board game.
Right. Okay, you're saying,
I'm gonna do that too. Is that a sport? And it's not team, it's solo, but so is golf.
But it also has to be clear. Like I feel like its measurables has to be clearly defined. Yeah. Like something like Risk has a lot of luck in it. Like poker, like can you really measure someone's?
Poker is a sport though.
Poker's a sport,
but it's not Olympics. It's not.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry. Okay, so I was gonna read sport Wikipedia.
Yeah, please.
Wikipedia defines a sport is commonly defined as a sort of game that requires physical activity and involves a degree of competition, as, for example, baseball, soccer, bowling, or basketball. Many people play sports with their friends. Sportsmen need coaches to teach or train teams or individuals how to do better. Sports can be played indoors or outdoors, and by individuals or teams. So I think you're right.
Then League would qualify for that. Yeah. Like then a video game would qualify underneath that, because there's team sports involved. I mean, there are teams involved in it. There's solo people involved in it. When it comes to that, there's coaches that can be involved with it. There's everything that you just said. It would fall underneath gaming. So yeah.
All right. So I agree with you, and I think a lot of people do agree that there are games. Video games can be a sport. Not video games are a sport, right? Because there are some things that like Smash Brothers, maybe. This might be a bad example, but like, is that really a sport? There's a lot of luck. Like, is it really balanced? Is it good for esports? Like, is it a good sport? Maybe is what I should.
Well, let's compare something like League, okay? Because League has got a lot of there's a lot of strategizing, team play together. There's a lot of that. Think about chess, okay? So that's. Yes. I mean, those are like parallel to one another. Chess and League of Legends, like those ones are. Those are literally the same, but one's virtual and one's physical, really. And one's like, turn-based, and one's just all-out kind of, live, whatever you call it, like live play or whatnot. But
yeah,
spectator. That's sport. But again, is chess Olympic sport?
So here's the thing: the Olympics have denied chess for years.
Yeah.
Because they call it a quote-unquote mind sport.
What?
Well, so a game is kind of like a mind sport.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And on top of it, it's not physical. So chess already has the physicality and the history behind it, and it's still being pushed out from the Olympics. The Olympics have also capped the number of games that they qualify to be a part of the games. They cap the number of games that qualify. They cap the number of games in the Olympics, right? So there's only a certain amount of games that can be considered, right? Like can be brought in, right? So there's competition of what games are in. There's only like, I'll just say an arbitrary number like 20.
I have a question for you. I don't know if you know the answer or not, but is there any Olympic, sport that was just incorporated recently, new that?
Snowboarding is the earliest thing I can think of.
And now I think snowboarding is pretty legit to be up there.
Yeah.
But mind games, man, why not? Like, why can't we have mind games? Isn't that, at the end of the day, like, that's one of the best competitions? I want to know who's the smarter ones, not the physically, fit ones, because, that's what's going to lead the country at the end of the day, like, competition. Yeah. The people that had the brain. So, like, why not a chess tournament with the best chess players of the country? Because it's showing, like, the best skilled mentally, It
also has to be fun to watch. I think is, like, that's somewhat, like, unspoken criteria element. And I don't know if chess is really that fun to watch.
Gaming is there.
And that's where I think League of Legends takes over. And that's what people who advocate for the esports to be added into the Olympics say, is that League of Legends is doing a really great job. Just esports in general is doing a really great job building these foundational elements that you see in the Olympic style type of games that are in there. Like you have a strong following. They actually are incorporating drug testing so that people aren't like anti-drugs in their community. Like they're bringing the quality and the standards to the same bar as the games that we see in the Olympics, right? So they're taking it very seriously. They want to treat it like a true sport. I think that's great.
I think if there's any skeptics out there right now that are listening and watching, go out there and watch one of these professional, League of Legends, showdowns between, two different countries or two different teams, because they're like what Clay is stating right now, it's very true. They're sitting behind the news anchor, desks, speaking, knowledgeably about the game. They're great announcers that it gets you entertained into it. There's a lot of skill involved. There's a lot of teamwork involved, and the way that they show you too, this game is very entertaining to watch. Like if you're not a follower of gaming, check it out, because I think you'd be a little surprised about the quality that Clay's speaking about right now. It compares to watching a sport game on ESPN.
Do you think there's also a level of like bar to entry? Like how, like I'm trying to think of the complication. Like, are they also looking at it as, well, it's just really hard for someone who doesn't know League of Legends to come on and watch, whereas someone can watch gymnastics or diving or golf, for instance, or even basketball and be like, look, the guys in blue put the ball in that basket a lot more than the guy. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to kind of grok, where you see these tiny little pixelated dudes. Nobody's uniformed color. They're all different styles. They have 4 different abilities that are flashing and doing different things.
They have a top lane, middle lane, bottom
there's
lane.
different.
I've tried to explain
one camera.
Yeah.
There's these obscure crystal-like things and towers.
Okay, so here's the thing. I get what you're saying, but. Okay, that was the same fucking thing if you were explaining that, football to a kid or baseball, this is the start of it. This is the birth of it. And maybe 10 years or 20 years, like we were just talking about, down the road, that everybody knows top lane, bottom lane, supports different four different, clicks, because it's been around long enough to be able to get people knowledgeable about the game. Like if I went out there first rip, I wasn't knowledgeable about football. I had to be taught football. I didn't know what this person did, that person did, what was the rules about what they could do. Or soccer, like you can't just run with the ball down the field. That's offsides. You know what I mean? You can't just take off on people. But
I agree with you there. What I'm saying is, are the base elements of the game still too obscure and complicated? Because when you look at
I think
football,
those are
it's like
simple
that guy's
though, right? Because like you can go, okay, let's just in the professional world, let's change the programming so that these guys are blue and these guys are red, and it can make a like,
oh yeah,
you know,
totally.
skin wise, whatever it be, just to really make it easy for people to understand. At least he's on team A, he's on team B, and that's all I need to know from here. It just I'm rooting for team A.
but you also have to get aligned with the team's goals, right? And is it as easy as telling someone, oh, blue team just wants to kill red team's crystal, and it's like, well, where's the crystal? And it's like, oh, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they show it, but like it's so hidden behind stuff. It's not like a football field, a soccer field. It's like just get that ball in the goal. Like there's multiple games that follow that same thing. So if you know one, it also overlaps. And again, football, it's like that team is just trying to throw that ball and get it into that like square. Yeah. Whereas like they got to kill, like you say,
there's a lot of strategy to League of Legends. It's not just like here, get the ball in the goal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm asking you. Do you think like I'm hesitant, but do you guys think that it's that simple? Do you think like it would be that simple?
I don't think it's going to be that simple to do anything like that. I think it's going to be a tough thing, like everything in life. Whenever you're trying to make a change, people are so scared of change. And I think that with this is going to be a huge change, getting people to be able to accept gaming as an actual legit sport. But I think it's something that's going to be probably necessary at some point. And maybe the younger generations, like our generations when we're 50, will be totally accepting of that. And the generations all below will be too as well. And then you got an outweighing of the scales. And then finally it happens. You know, right now it might not. I mean, it's good to start it, but it might not catch, to be honest, because there is a lot of cogs to that machine right now, and a lot of people aren't going to understand it. They're not going to get it, and they're not going to want to get it, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, well, what about a different aspect? Like, it's instead of we're just saying league, like what if it's just like PvP? Like they have one team versus another. That's pretty easy to get.
Well, like, you know, like a Warsong Gulch kind of situation would be a lot more easier of a concept. Like,
grab
this flag, get it back to here. But the only thing is it's not as entertaining. You know, I don't think so, at least. Like, but there's too many people in the mix of the play. Those like you don't really know exactly.
But you bring up a good point, Rocco, because Counter-Strike is on its way to trying to become a very more esport friendly. Call of Duty's doing the same thing. Like they're trying to make classes, right, and and then balance it based off that, right? So they're trying to get into the esports because there's a lot of money in it. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
and if it gets into the Olympics, then you get just perpetual, like insane, infinite amounts of marketing. So. A shooter game is a lot more, I think, in my opinion, easier to understand. It's like that team is trying to get more kills than that team. Like, just watch it, right? Yeah. So that would be interesting to add.
Well, from that point of view, yes. Yeah, like that would be a lot more easier for the viewer to understand. Anybody can get that one. And he needs more kills than that team needs more kills. Yeah, so I'm watching the kill meter and that's all, and then that's my scoreboard. And then I can individually, like, I don't know how would this is a whole different side, but like just seeing how the entertainment side would be if you were the viewer, right? Like how would they make that entertaining for you? Because there's, you know, say 10 people here and 10 people here. Who am I going to be watching? Am I watching like some big wide panning shot that's just watching everybody? Am I watching, you know, the first person view and we're randomly switching between who's actually doing action?
That's excites me because I want it like seeing how football has come, and even to this day there's still like year after year they're changing the UI, they're fixing like things to make it a little bit more like meaningful. But like, you know, like for the longest time we grew up with football having like the lines, the yellow line, but for the longest time this is like old guys are like, when back in my day we had to look on the sidelines to see the marker. We didn't have no fancy line telling us where they needed to get. So maybe we get this cool like isometric view or top-down view, and you're seeing, and they're like, okay, you know, like the guys are like highlighted their colors, so it's a little easier to read, and like we're switching out, and then we have that benefit of going into first-person mode. Like, could you imagine? What,
and there's
like,
well, man, what if there was like 15 spectators that created real quick that all had their own personal cameras, and they were literally doing a producer behind the scenes, like, oh, camera 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
they
it's
could
like,
go and see
and
their
they're all
own
like
camera.
just kind of focusing. They can like move around anywhere they want to. I mean, this is the thing. Is like there's so much room for growth with that whole concept. I really think that there is, and I think that like I was saying with the change, it might not happen right now, but it's good that it's getting started because it will happen. Like like I will put all my eggs in that basket. It will happen. It just I'm not sure.
Or that will be in the Olympics.
No, it will definitely be a new sport. In the Olympics, I think it'll even happen with that too. I think it might take 100 years before that happens. But
the fact that chess is not in there just makes me really.
But I think that give it give it a lot of time, and you will see that happen. I think people will start to migrate away from these other sports that we're seeing right now, and eventually go into something like the game.
I'm just making the face because chess has had how many years?
No, imagine.
It doesn't matter. Look how fast people are changing right now. Like,
imagine if League of Legends got in there before chess. How many people would be pissed off?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just like no.
But they won't be when we're 50 years old, and all the people underneath 50 years old, the majority of the population of the world are like, we don't play chess. We play League of Legends. Like, why do we care about chess?
I guess you're right.
Give guys. It's just like everything else. Give it a lot of time, and the whole thing will change. Like, what direction do you see?
20 years.
Huh?
But don't you think someone 20 years ago was saying that about chess? And they're like, dude, just give it time. There's a rock of 20, and they're like, all right, we'll give it time. And like, chess is not
maybe, because chess has been around a long ass fucking time.
I don't know. And then the thing about the mind sport that I was gonna say really quick is just that, like, yeah, I don't buy into that. Like, the mind is a physical aspect of what we do. Like, it can't be seen. Maybe like it can be. There's like Twitch. There's like through virtual like the way that, like, one of the parts of the article I was seeing is that these guys are making like 300 decisions within minutes, and it is very impressive to watch how twitchy and skillful they are at making these like split-second decisions, right? And so you will see that on screen, and maybe you don't necessarily can see it at a fingertip or like a mouse move, but like it's represented virtually on screen. So there is actually a lot of physicality to that, and to call it just straight up a mind sport, I think is almost like an offensive, dismissive view on the mind itself. Like, to say that the mind is something not connected to your body is like bullshit.
Right, yeah.
Mind controls a lot of physicality of what you're doing.
That's what I'm saying. Mind and physical goes together. Like, as far as like football, like, you gotta like, oh, I'm gonna juke this way, but I'm gonna go this way. Like, I'm gonna mess with this.
And
dude.
that makes the difference between the Barry Sanders and just the Joe Schmo.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's Barry Sanders. You can tell. Oh, he's got that split-second mentality that's just making the difference between him, being on the 20-yard line or all the way in the touchdown, man.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I understand. Like, at the same time, I understand it's like, well, you can't, like, their muscles, the height, weight, like, they're looking for things like that. But like, I don't know.
I mean, once again, I go back to watch one on YouTube and tell me if you're not entertained, even if you don't know what you're watching, you'll still probably be like, wow, that's kind of hyped up, man. Like, this was pretty good. Like
even another esport I was gonna say on top of that, Rocco, to like even bring it down, like, even if you don't want to watch League, is a fighter. Watch Street Fighter and on the Evo championships, right? Like, those things are one-on-one. The health bar is very clear. And then you either win or you don't. Like, and then there's some really insane comebacks. Like, that should be extremely entertaining as well. So
I like that.
Like right now, I just turned on Twitch Riot Games, and it's got 160,000 people watching people play League of Legends right now.
I think it just hit its 2 million mark on Twitch.
Yeah.
Concurrent users.
So and that's what I'm saying. So like, that's just in one gaming community, guys. That's one gaming community. Now think about all the gaming communities around the world. Combine them. There's going to be some game. They're going to want some games being, official sports, and then leading their ways into probably Olympics. You're going to have some time with them being an official sport first.
Yes.
They're going to have to be a sport first, and that might be 50 years. You know what I mean? Like, of just being a sport, and then going, okay, now let's put ourselves up for the Olympics. And
you're right. There's like a magic set of like elements that need to be aligned. They have to be fun to watch. There has to be that team, the sport aspect of it, and it also has to exist in multiple countries, right? Like, football is a great sport. It's not Olympics though, and that's because it's not necessarily carried on in the other countries. Whereas Korea, like, stuff like StarCraft is like, that's their national sport. So like, video games are much more accepted around the country, I'd argue, than football is.
Yeah,
and more because more people of other countries participate in there, and they have like professionals in there.
Now, I guess what it comes down to is we're seeing it all from our perspective. Now, perspective, like a person, like, what does the Olympics mean to them? You know what I mean? Like, like, I mean, because they have like shot put, they have like, the whole whatever ball throw and everything like that. Like, what qualifies to like go into I wouldn't say go into the Olympics, but like, can't think.
Like, making it even an Olympic sport. You're saying.
Take your time, Steve.
Yeah, like, I'm just saying, like, if you were asked a person that doesn't know jack shit about games or anything like that, and was just like, absolutely not, no, games can never be in the Olympics at all, because it's just it's the Olympics. It's serious. It's not some kind of like, whatever, like Twitch
Game.
TV or something like that, like game. You know what I mean? Like if you're thinking about it from that perspective.
I don't.
So you're saying that like something like shot put or whatever feels more serious because it's physical.
I guess
in the Olympics,
just like you said, football's not in the Olympics. Like what qualifies? Like why isn't football in the Olympics?
I think it's missing that key element that I was describing earlier that needs to be aligned, right? Like there's multiple things that need to be aligned for it to be qualified as an Olympic sport. And I think the one thing football's missing is the fact that multiple countries don't.
I was going to say a world community.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back
to this real quick for half a sec. Check this one out. All right. Look at all the different sports out there in the world. Okay. Think of them as their own communities. We got football, cricket, we got rugby, we got soccer, we got everything. Now think about world community wise, right? Soccer's got a huge following.
Yeah,
what else has a huge following world community wise? Games. Games have a huge world following. Every country is playing video games. Every country is involved in the community of video games. Yeah. Like we have already got that one big, the
North
biggest
Korea's
part.
not, though. They have no power.
We have one of the biggest challenges is making sure that the sport is a world community sport, right? Like football is a huge sport here in America, but it's not a world community sport, so it's not going to get on the page of the World Olympics ever. But gaming's in the world. It's everybody's playing it except for North Korea, and and I think that, like I'm saying, like I think that that's something that can easily push it kind of faster, into that concept of the Olympics. Maybe not like I was saying right away because the Olympics seem to be a very conservative, like event.
Yeah,
I think
you're right, Rocco. Yeah, I mean we talked about how video games as an esport has one up on chess, it has one up on American football. Like it has one up on certain things that like aren't in the Olympics, so it could happen. I
think so too.
I was gonna say, well, cricket was in the Olympics.
Oh, was it?
Plays that.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Cricket isn't. Yeah, well, baseball is.